There from the south, rules that I pound you. I'm like stalking, catching bitches walking after dark and park. In that corner, I hit they dome. They can't go for help because I took their phone. Using up minutes, using all my homies, just until I'm in it. Bitch, I dare you to scream. Haven't you heard this?
Hello, I am back. It's been a little while. I think like 2 weeks maybe. Um, for good reason, I guess. I am making a little bit of a different type of video today. I will be ranking all the protagonists from all the different mangas I've read, which came out to 20. So we have a pretty hefty video in front of us. But before we start with the actual list, my Ruri Dragon video, the chapter review I did for chapter 2, it got 62 views, which is crazy. I'm very happy about that. That's really sick. It's doing quite a bit better than all my other videos, so I will probably be doing another chapter review for Ruby Dragon. And yeah, that aside, this video will be ranking 20 of the protagonists I've read from different mangas. So I'm wearing this JoJo's hat because I am up to part 5 of JoJo's. So I've seen 5 JoJo's, and 5 JoJo's are on the list, even though some of them, like Giorno, can really... it's a little iffy on how their name is JoJo, but whatever. So there's 5 of them on the list, so I decided to wear this hat. So, and I'm also wearing an All Might shirt because I've read quite a bit of My Hero, so Deku is somewhere on this list. So just a disclaimer, this video is very opinionated. It is literally my opinion for the whole video, and some of them are pretty weird. So if you're a One Piece fan, you're going to come out of this mad, and if you're a Demon Slayer fan, you're going to be very mad at this video. But, you know, it's just my opinion, so... I don't know. This is how I feel about these characters. So, number 20 is Jonathan Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's the first JoJo. So, you know, he starts off the series, but honestly, Jonathan is not the most interesting fellow in the world. To be honest, he didn't excite me that much as a protagonist. That's why he is on the bottom. No hate to any of these protagonists. I love them all in one way or another, but just Jonathan isn't the most exciting. You know, he was trained by Will Zeppeli. I will admit, that part was very fun, because I love all the Zeppelis. Caesar is one of my favorite JoJo characters. But, you know, that was his training. He excels in Hamon combat, which is not as cool as Stan's, but still pretty cool. I am a Hamon defender, I can't lie. And he's pretty much just like a stoic, kind person. He's a big gentleman, which I do appreciate. He's a very big gentleman. He's very nice to everyone, except for Dio, because Dio's an asshole. And his powers are pretty much just extreme strength and Hamon. Jonathan, some of the themes that go with his character is that he's very driven by revenge. A lot of the first part of JoJo's, without spoiling it, is based on sort of revenge on past wrongs that have happened. And there's, of course, the theme of, like, lineage and legacy. That's throughout all of JoJo's, because all the different JoJo's contribute in one way to the JoJo legacy. And sacrifice, because... won't spoil, but he does make sacrifices because he's a very kind and noble person. That's pretty much all I have to say about Jonathan. So next at number 19 is very controversial. I don't even want to do this one. I'm just going to go through this one fast because I don't want to get hate. But 19 is Tanjiro Kamado from Demon Slayer. And to explain, I just don't like Demon Slayer. It's not my thing. I watched all season 1 and read a little bit ahead, like half of the Entertainment District arc. It didn't really grab me. I wasn't crazy about it. Tanjiro is a really kind and forgiving dude. I will give him that. It's very cute. Tanjiro can be very, you know, cutesy because he's just so nice. He's like almost like annoyingly nice, to be honest. And he's very pleasant. Too pleasant. And his powers are that he excels at sword combat. And he also does water breathing, which is a sort of technique that has like special moves with his sword. Like he has water wheel. And yeah, he has various forms of that. I don't know if he gets another form or anything because I haven't read too far into Demon Slayer. But from what I read, those are his powers. And he was trained by Irokodaki. And I think some Hashira. Like the bug girl Hashira, I think. I don't know. But Tanjiro is just not one of my favorite protagonists because Demon Slayer is just not one of my favorite series. That's really it. At number 18 is Giorno Giovanna from JoJo's Part 5. Yeah, I don't know. Giorno didn't make the greatest impression on me. I'm not too far into JoJo's Part 5 because I've been like sort of waiting for the manga because I like to read manga. I don't really watch anime pretty much ever, but the manga's been taking like a long ass time to get to America, so I barely progressed. Like I'm only probably like 40% of the way through part 5, but just I don't know, Giorno feels so like quiet and in the background most of the time. Like I feel like he's not even the protagonist sometimes, to be honest, but I don't know. He's like a pretty smart and sort of not stone cold kind of guy, but he's just like a smart guy who's very powerful. In terms of power, he has a stand called Gold Experience, and it is super OP from what my friends have told me. I've barely seen it in too many fights, but looks pretty damn good, and I think he gets an upgrade or something, but you know. And I just feel like the sort of themes around the character is that being in a gang rocks. Not really. In JoJo's it does. And his training was Passione, I guess. I don't know. There isn't really training in JoJo's for the most part. At number 17 is Ruri from Ruri Dragon. Shout out to Ruri again because I got some good views for that. And her training is, I guess, by her mom. I don't know. She is a dragon. She's a half dragon, half human person, and she has some slice of life adventures. She has like a very like witty, sarcastic sort of vibe around her, and I like that. She's a little cynical kid. I don't know. She's a good character. She makes it fun to read Ruri Dragon, and you know, I enjoy it for that. And most of all, Ruri Dragon teaches us that even being a dragon can still be a slice of life. At number 16 is another JoJo boy. It is Joseph Joestar, the funniest Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 specifically. I can't lie, putting him at 16 was a little hard because there's just a lot of other Protags that I like more personally, but Joseph is a great character, don't get me wrong. He is like fucking hilarious. He's a really funny guy. And a lot of the fights of Part 2 were really cool. Like just the whole Pillarman thing was genius. I can't lie. That shit was really good. And his powers are having big muscles and Hamon. Pretty much has the same powers as Jonathan. And that's about it. And he can maybe read minds. I don't know. He predicts what people say before they say it, which is pretty cool. And the power of having an amazing strategy every time. And he's just a very cool guy. He's very cunning, very charming. Probably the most charming JoJo. And I'm glad we see him for all the time that we do. He's a very prominent character in the JoJo's universe, and I'm glad. Number 15 is from a new manga. New-ish manga. It's MASH, Burn Dead, from Mashley. Or Mashal. I don't know which one it is. I've heard people say Mashal. I think it sounds cool as Mashley. I don't know. I'll try not to say it. But MASH is a very cool guy. He's sort of like Saitama. I wouldn't say a ripoff, but they're very similar people. Sort of, fish out of water people in an environment that they don't really fit into but excel in kind of accidentally. So MASH is a non-magic user, like he can't use magic, and he goes to a school for magicians, but he works out a lot and he has really big muscles, which is his power. Honestly, his power is working out a lot and being really fit, and he gets into a lot of funny situations that he gets out of. And he also loves cream puffs. There's anything about MASH really, really loves cream puffs. Not the best protag, but I like it. I like Mashley a lot, so that's it. I'm honestly kind of mad for putting this person where I did. At number 14 on the list is Josuke Higashikata. I think he's too low. I don't know what I was thinking, but he is the JoJo of JoJo's Part 4. Keep in mind, I am rating Protags, not the actual series, because JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 is literally one of the best things ever, to be honest. Everything about that part is fucking perfect. But Josuke is a pretty funny guy. I like him. Josuke is a cool guy. He's a pretty normal high school student who just so happens to have a stand. And that stand would be Crazy Diamond, of course, and that is his power. And he's just a pretty sarcastic, funny, slightly immature kind of guy. He's also very compassionate. I do like that he's a healer, but still a fighter. He's a really cool guy. Josuke's a great guy, but before I move on to the next number, the Red Hot Chili Peppers arc is very underrated. It is a very cool arc in Part 4. Yeah. At number 13 is a dude from a manga I honestly think is kind of underrated. I don't know what people online think about it, but All my friends don't like Haikyuu. It's Shoyo Hinata. Number 13 is Shoyo Hinata from Haikyuu. All my friends think Haikyuu is mid. I don't know. I read the first two volumes. I think it's actually really good. I really enjoyed it, but I don't know. Teach their own. But Shoyo is a short guy like me who decides to play volleyball because he likes the sport and he looks up to this one guy who is short like him and he did a really good volleyball move or something. Um, and his powers are being good at volleyball and he wants to see over that wall. We all know that. There's a very tall wall over the net that he wants to see over. I don't know. And his training is pretty much for himself and, the Karasuno team. Okay, from number 12 up to number 1, we are actually getting to the pretty close territory. Like, all these people I really, really like, and it was really hard ranking them. So, keep that in mind. It's going to get intense now. So, next at number 12 is Yuji Itadori from JJK, which is probably my second favorite manga. I am fucking obsessed with JJK. Although Yuji, in my opinion, is one of the weaker characters of JJK. But he's still a very good protagonist. He's very cool. I mean, what other protag does their training by watching movies and drinking sodas? And yeah, Yuji is a very nice kid, very compassionate guy who wants to let people have peaceful deaths and shit. Because after he saw his grandpa die, he didn't, sort of, not alone, because Yuji was there, but I guess alone. And he didn't want that for other people. So Yuji's powers is having the best JJK character of all time inside of him, Sukuna, who is super strong, probably the strongest, maybe behind Gojo. I don't know. Gojo is just gone. So he has super strength, I think super speed, and he could do the Black Flash. And he has high cursed energy, I think. Or does Yuji not have cursed energy? I don't know. JJK is super confusing, but yeah, I like Yuji because Yuji, his arc has actually been pretty deep because of all the tragedy that's happened in JJK. There's a lot of regret, sort of lack of control because of Sukuna, and sort of guilt of how much innocence he's harmed, even though, he can't control it. But Yuji is a very deep character. He has a lot of shit that has happened to him that really should not have happened to him, that he's going to have to deal with even later on in JJK. That's pretty much all I have to say about Yuji. And the next one, number 11, might also be a little controversial because people probably expect him to be at number 3 or higher. But I'm not very far into the series, so, Number 11 is the Rubber Man himself, Monkey D. Luffy, from One Piece, of course. I'm not that far into One Piece, so I can't judge Luffy too much, but from where I am, he's made a very good impression. He is a very good character so far. He's a really badass dude. I really like how he protects people, and he's just funny. There's a lot of moments of Luffy that just make me laugh, to be honest, and his powers of being a rubber man are very cool. Also, maybe super strength for powers, I don't know, but he's just a really silly, loyal guy who's very hungry as well. He has a very big appetite. But Luffy is just a dependable guy. He's really cool, really nice. He's someone I would want to have on my side, if he were real. And from where I am right now, Volume 4 of One Piece, I don't think he's received any training. But One Piece has made a very good impression on me so far. The first 3 volumes are really good. I have 2 more omnibuses of it, so I'm excited to keep reading. One Piece has made a very good impression. It reminds me of OG Dragon Ball because it has that really adventure feel to it while also having really badass fights as well. The beginning fight with Buggy and anything to do with Zoro is really cool. One Piece has been nailing it so far, to be honest. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Luffy. Luffy's a cool guy. And number 10 is from a severely, severely underrated manga. It is Maru from Aishiman. Aishiman is a pretty new manga. It came out I think about a year ago. It got canceled, sadly, though. So shame on you if you haven't read Aishiman. It's awesome. It's 25 chapters, very short, but really cool. I'm really sad it got canceled. I really wanted it to go on. But Maru is really cool because Maru is very relatable. His main motivations are manga related, and he really loves manga. So, we can all take a page from his book. And he has super strength, which is pretty cool. And he just has the general quality of being a badass. He's pretty funny, too. He's a pretty funny guy, so I do like Maru. His training is reading. I mean, his training is reading manga. Like that's awesome. I love that. He does a little bit more training to do with like almonds and nuts later, but that's super late into Aishimon. But if there's one thing you take out of this entry, it's read Aishimon, please. Why did it have to get canceled? Like I'm so pissed. But whatever, Maru's awesome. Next at number 9 is from a series I absolutely love. It's in my top 3. It is Saitama from One Punch Man. I almost said One Piece. But One Punch Man is an amazing series, and Saitama is a good protagonist. Sometimes he disappears for volumes. Maybe not volumes at a time, but I definitely feel like I've seen a volume without a minute. But Saitama is the strongest ever, basically. He can, in one punch, end any battle, basically, and that's what he's done in the manga. And his training is, of course, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, a 10-kilometer run. Do it every day. Which was said in the manga and anime. But Saitama is kind of a sad dude because being so much at the top, has its disadvantages. Fighting just isn't fun when you can end every fight in one punch, One Punch Man is great in the way that it gets you to think about that. If you were inside someone's place, how would you feel? It wouldn't be fun. The thrill of the battle is just gone. And in a crazy world of One Punch where literally anything will come out and just want to kill people, it's not fun when you could just and they're done, That kind of sucks. So Saitama just kind of has to go throughout the boredom and doldrums of every single day because of that. But he's still a great hero. He's still a very heroic person at the end of the day, albeit very late sometimes when he really needs to be there. But Saitama, when it comes down to it, is a true hero and someone that everyone in the One Punch universe should aspire to be. And at number 8 is one I'm super excited to talk about because this manga is pretty deep in my opinion, and it's just fun to talk about. It is Denji from Chainsaw Man, the manga that has been absolutely fucking killing it lately. Part 2 just came out. I'm not there yet. I'm only on volume 7, but I love Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is awesome, and Denji's a pretty dope protagonist. Of course, his powers is being the motherfucking Chainsaw Man, which means that he can grow chainsaws out of his head and arms and just mess stuff up like that. Which, by the way, I always just... When you're reading Chainsaw Man, read it with chainsaw noises in your head. Do very loud, big chainsaw noises in your head because it's way more fun. It's really fun doing that, I swear. But Denji is a pretty cool guy. He died, this happens in chapter 1. But he dies, and his little devil buddy, Pochita, sort of takes over. Well, it lends him his heart. I think Pochita lent Denji his heart and brought Denji back to life. But whatever. Basically, now Denji is a fiend, which is a devil, pretty much. And devils are the enemy of Chainsaw Man. So he's kept by the good guys, the devil hunters, to sort of work. But that little caveat of Denji's character is what makes him so interesting to me, because being a fiend, he's just not a very feeling person, because he's not really a person, he's a devil. So there's a lot of heavy situations that happen in Chainsaw Man, but Denji doesn't even know how to process them, because it's his heart is basically gone, his human heart is gone, so he doesn't even feel. People will die, and truly he won't really care, not out of spite, but just because he can't. But those deep things aside, Denji is actually a very goofy character. For the most part, he says jokes, speaks a lot in slang and phrases. I don't know. But he's just immature and goofy, and most of all, of course, the worst trait of Denji, in my opinion, he's a fucking simp. He is the biggest simp ever. Oh my god, it is so annoying. And he simps for the worst girl ever. Makima sucks. I hate every time she's on page because Makima sucks. Makima's a bad person, and she sucks. Times 10. For his powers, he is also near immortal and can become the Chainsaw Man, like I said earlier. And his training was done by a dude named Kishibe, which is a very badass guy, and he would sort of hunt them like devils, and that would be his training. And that is about all I have to say for Denji. And at number 7 is Goku from Dragon Ball, which is my favorite manga currently. Goku, is probably the most iconic manga protagonist ever, because Dragon Ball is fucking huge. Keep in mind, this rating is solely on OG Dragon Ball. I've barely read any of Z, maybe only like 5 chapters or so. But I love OG Dragon Ball. OG Dragon Ball is a classic, and it is fucking awesome. So, Goku, in OG Dragon Ball, has the power of super strength, probably super speed, pretty much anything, pretty much anything you could think of that Superman can do, Goku can probably do. I don't mean to invite the Goku versus Superman people, but Goku would probably beat his ass. Anyway, they have pretty similar powers. He can fly as well, just like Superman. And he can turn into a monkey / ape. Not sure which it is, but I know Superman can't do that shit. Extreme endurance, and he is a master of the Kamehameha wave. So, yeah, pretty awesome powers. Of course, I haven't even tapped into the Super Saiyan stuff, which I'm super excited to get into. Goku is that goofy, lovable Saiyan. Everyone knows Goku. He's not the smartest guy, but he's super nice. He's super nice and chill with everyone. And he loves his friends, and his friends love him. Goku is just a great, dependable person. Goku is just a great lens to look at the Dragon Ball universe through, and I can just appreciate all of his sort of witty adventures. I love seeing Goku do what he does best, and that is beating people's asses and being really funny. I love Goku. Number 6 is the boy, the legend, the fox spirit himself, Naruto Uzumaki from Sasuke Shippuden, the best anime ever. Naruto is awesome. I love Naruto very much. It is a series I hold very dear to me, and the protagonist is a great part of it. I love Naruto. Naruto to me is a really great guy. He's very dumb, very dumb, but very kind. Naruto is just one of those characters that when you're in a bad fucking situation and the dust is gathering while you're getting your ass beat, and the dust settles and someone comes out of those shadows, you'd want that person to be Naruto. He's very dependable in a fight. He has awesome abilities. He has probably super speed, super strength. He has the power of the Rasengan, basically unlimited chakra, and he has Kurama living inside of him. I mean, dude, Naruto is a powerhouse, especially by the end of I almost said by the end of Sasuke. By the end of Shippuden, Naruto Shippuden, he pretty much is that bitch. Hello, I am back with a different outfit though. Still the same hat though, which is important because number 5 on the list is Jotaro Kujo himself. So now I'm going to take off the hat in honor of him, I guess. Oh my god. Okay, so Jotaro Kujo is from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and he's the protagonist of Part 3, and he has pretty big roles in Parts 4 through 6. Not really 5, but 4 and 6. And Jotaro Kujo, by far, not even close, is my favorite JoJo. I don't know if that's a basic choice or something, but I don't know. Jotaro Kujo is just the man. So I think Jotaro is easily the coolest JoJo. I mean, with the cool black hat, with the all black, and he even has different wardrobe changes throughout the different parts that are all really cool. He dresses cool. His stand is fucking awesome, which leads me to Jotaro's power. Jotaro has the power of the stand, and he has Star Platinum, which is probably one of the most OP JoJo stands in the franchise relative to his part. Because later on, I don't think so. And that stand is really cool because it has the power to punch things extremely hard, stretch out its fingers really weirdly, and do something else, which I'm not going to spoil because it's supposed to be no spoilers. So it has something else. What I respect about Jotaro is that he's just a very heroic sort of person. He kind of like Saitama. He always steps in at the last minute and just completely crushes the enemy, which is pretty funny because throughout JoJo's there's always a bunch of different situations where they're struggling, and then last minute Jotaro will come and just fuck up the bad guy completely. Which a specific scenario like that happens at the end of Part 4, and it is my favorite JoJo's moment ever. It is so cool. But yeah, Jotaro is just an amazing protagonist. He definitely earned the number 5 spot. So number 4 is the protagonist of my favorite anime ever. I've actually never read the manga of this character, but I've seen about half of the anime, and it is the best thing ever. It is Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, the best shonen ever, maybe, I think, anime-wise at least. Yeah, Yusuke is another asshole. He is a very... He's a little dickish. That's what I'll say. Yusuke's a little dickish, but he can fight. Yeah, Yusuke's training is insane. He like climbed a cliff and got Genkai to like punch the shit out of him like a million times, and he just had to like take it. It is intense, but it definitely worked because the fights in Yu Yu Hakusho are crazy. That was also a crazy segue, but the fights in Yu Yu Hakusho are amazing. They're very well choreographed. His training with Genkai did pay off because it gave him the power to, I guess, channel his spirit energy very well, and he can do one of the most iconic anime attacks in my opinion, the spirit gun, which is like a little finger gun, but energy pops out of it, which is amazing. And yeah, I don't really know what to say more than that, but just Yusuke is a dick who is also nice, who can fight really well, and is a protagonist of the best anime ever, Yu Yu Hakusho, which is so good. Number 3 is a protagonist of a manga I started very recently, actually. I started this manga at the beginning of summer, and I'm about 30 to 40 chapters in, but I've been really impressed. Number 3 is the protagonist of Rurouni Kenshin, Himura Kenshin. So Kenshin, just like Denji, is another character that I'm going to have a lot of fun talking about because I guess their themes about their character and sort of past / events that happen to them are really interesting. So Kenshin is a Rurouni, which is sort of like a wandering ninja who just sort of wanders from place to place without a clear like aim or goal or serving any sort of particular military. But Kenshin used to be this really big, like crazy samurai who's like murdered countless people and was like revered in his time. He was called the Hitakiri Batosai, and that past really haunts Kenshin because when you start reading Rurouni Kenshin, before you know about Kenshin's past, he's honestly a really silly character who's just sort of like out there, and he even has like a backwards blade because he doesn't really mean to like kill his enemies. He just wants to subdue them and bring them to justice. So you think of him as like a kind and compassionate man, which he is. It's just the story is very historical, so it took place during the Meiji era, and there was a lot of war, and Kenshin served in that war, so he has a lot of like regrets about his past and things that happened. So a lot of Rurouni Kenshin is Kenshin's journey, finding people he cares about like Kaoru and Yahiko and Sanosuke, and sort of trying to better his past and be more forgiving. Kenshin, where I am at least, doesn't have any particular like superhuman abilities or powers. He just has the mastery of a sword and maybe extreme speed and reflexes because he can dodge like anything, and he goes like that anime trope where they're like and then the person is slashed. I don't know how to describe it better. I honestly hate that I don't have more to say about Kenshin because I love his character and I'm loving Rurouni Kenshin, but you know, I just sort of started reading it, so I don't have a crazy amount of stuff to really say, but I appreciate the themes of like redemption and restraint and even love, because Rurouni Kenshin does get pretty romantic. It is called a romantic story in like the first chapter, so which is pretty cool. It's just an awesome manga. I would definitely recommend reading it. It's really, really good, and it has that like 90s vibe, which is really cute, and the art is very detailed. Before we get to my number 2, I don't know how long this video is going to be yet, but thank you for watching this far. I appreciate it. It's really cool to be at number 2. I'm really hyped to talk about these protagonists because I love them. I think they're really, really well written, and I think they're just amazing characters. So number 2 is Yugimoto from Yu-Gi-Oh! Those were Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that I threw at the screen for that effect. Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess, well, Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, I guess, 2 different protagonists, kind of, because there's Yugi and there's other Yugi, which is Yami Yugi, which is like the sadistic part of him that comes out when he plays Duel Monsters, because of that really cool pyramid necklace he has on. Yami Yugi and Yugi operate very differently, especially in the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. However, they do work together and they are best friends, which is really nice because I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! really could have just gone the cheap route and have them be like mad at each other all the time, and it would be so annoying. But no, they're best friends, like they're besties. And so they're really different. Like, for instance, Yami Yugi is a very serious ancient spirit inside of Yugi, who is fucking awesome at duel monsters, really good. And he's just always seeking like this is original Yu-Gi-Oh. He's always seeking vengeance and trying to punish people. But overall, he is actually a pretty good guy. However, it is night and day in comparison to Yugi and Yami Yugi, because Yugi is a really shy and not awkward, but just like a shy kid who's just like, I think they're like middle schoolers, or no, I think they're sophomores actually. So he's just like a regular shy high schooler. And Yugi himself is a very like sweet, low, quiet kid compared to Yami Yugi's confident, not bravado, but he's a very confident guy. Is Yu-Gi-Oh not masterfully blends them together, because you see a lot more Yami Yugi than you see Yugi, which I'm not complaining, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a way bigger Yami Yugi fan than I am than regular Yugi. But you sort of see both of them, and you see how they duel and battle differently. And the backbone of Yu-Gi-Oh, I would say, is Yugi's relationship with his friends, like Jinoichi and Anzu and Honda and Bakura. Because Yugi, no matter what, it is his friends above everything. He's always battling for their sake. He's always trying to help them, because he's just a really great guy. He's very friend-oriented. Yugi's friends are always there for him during battles, cheering him on, and it's adorable. It's really wholesome. Throughout the story, different things happen to them, and it's just very well written. But that aside, Yugi doesn't really have any powers aside from having an ancient Egyptian spirit inside of him and being really good at card games. Like, he's really good at duel monsters, obviously. He is like the king of games, I think. I think that's his title. And yeah, just in general, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's really, really fucking well written. Like, I feel like people discount it because they sort of just think of the card game and they think it's going to be like some silly tie-in manga that's sort of a cash grab. But no, it's a really, really good story. Like some of the stuff that happens in the arcs are just insane. Like, I'm in Battle City right now toward the end, and it's just been crazy. It's been really intense. And I want people to give Yu-Gi-Oh! A chance, because it's not a cash grab. It's a really good manga. It's one of the greatest manga ever, in my opinion. And the art is amazing. R.I.P. to Kazuki Takahashi, because it was really sad. That really messed me up, because the art is out of this world in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's beautiful. Overall, I think Yugi is a 10 out of 10 protagonist. Like, definitely not something you'd expect out of Yu-Gi-Oh! A manga about card battling, but he's awesome. And now there's only one left. One spot. The GOAT. The best. Who I think is the best. But before I say it, a lot of people are going to think this is a crazy opinion, because it is kind of crazy. This series gets quite a bit of hate. I don't see it. I think it's really good, but this is who I have as my number one. Number one of all of the manga protagonists from all of the manga that I've read, if you haven't figured it out by process of elimination, it is Izuku Midoriya! But you know what? Come on out here. Come on out here, Deku. Come on out. Wow. I think I already regret putting Deku at number one. I just got my ass beaten by the motherfucker I put at number one. First and foremost, I just like that Deku, you know, memes aside, because there's like jokes about Deku always crying and shit like that, but memes aside, Deku is not afraid to show his emotions. Like, Deku can be a very emotional character, and I like that. I enjoy that of him. It makes him more real. Like, All Might is this huge legend, but Deku is just a normal person who's even born quirkless. He didn't even have a superpower at birth, but he rose up to the occasion after getting a quirk. Now, if you didn't know, quirks in the My Hero Academia universe are superpowers, basically. Like, My Hero is about a superhero society, I guess. But Deku, unfortunately, was born without a quirk. He was born quirkless. So that tormented him a lot throughout his younger years, because all of his classmates had quirks and he just felt left out. But eventually one day, he stumbles into his favorite hero, the number one hero at the time, All Might. And All Might has this thing called One for All. And one for all basically means that he can pass the torch down from himself to someone else. So he had been looking and looking for someone to pass the crown down to, so they can get his powers, pretty much. Sort of his powers. So he chooses Deku after they meet, and he really likes him. He chooses Deku. So now Deku has a quirk. He has one for all, which basically gives him super strength, super agility, extreme agility, and super speed, I believe. But it isn't without its downsides, because his power is so like raw that Deku literally, especially more so in the beginning, he would just punch something and immediately break his arm or break his finger. Even doing like a flick, he would break his finger because he just had so much power stored in him. And it's really cool because it's just so exhilarating to read the beginning of My Hero and you really feel for Deku and his struggle, then to see him get so powerful and train so hard to get to where he goes. And you just feel like you're on that journey with him, and you feel so happy for Deku. And it's another reason why I love him. Another thing I appreciate about Deku is that he's very hardworking. Like, he'll literally take notes on anything. He's always doing research, and he researches other heroes because he's always trying to improve himself and get better because he wants to be the best hero someday, like his hero All Might. And Deku can be really funny sometimes. Like, he'll like mumble to himself, and it's very stylized in the manga and anime. It's really funny, which is super random, but just something thought I should mention. For what it's worth, Deku is no pushover. That man has been in some fucking immense fights. Like, the fight against that one muscular guy, I forgot his name. I think it was literally like Muscle. I think his name was literally Muscular. But that fight was a pleasure to watch. I didn't switch over the manga yet at the time. I think I did like right after that arc, which was around season 3-ish. But yeah, that was just a pleasure to watch. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome. My Hero can have some really, really cool fights when they want to. But what would a fighter be without their trainer, of course? And Deku was trained by Gran Torino and All Might himself. They taught him a lot of things. Gran Torino especially was really funny seeing his training process. I think it was like 2 episodes in the anime. I really enjoyed that. His training was cute. And I love the little checkups with Gran Torino from time to time. He's a cool guy. Yeah, I just love Deku. I think he's a great character, you know. Some people may think he's a crybaby or a pushover, but I think that just makes his character a little more layered. You know, it just makes it more interesting to follow the journey of someone who isn't perfect, you know. And he's also only like 13 or 14, so. And about some of his powers are really fun. Like the whole like him having to control himself because his like pure power is just too much and will break his own bones is really fun. Like, it's a cool handicap to impose on him during fights, and he sort of learns to hone that over the series. And he has things like full cowling, or he'll do a percent where he'll do like a 5% strength punch, which is still immense. And just Deku is a very fun character to watch fight. I do enjoy to watch him fight. But yeah, just in general, I mean, that's the way it shook out. Deku was number 1 out of all the protagonists from all the manga I've read. And as I wrap this video up, I haven't really mentioned any non-manga related things, but if you're watching Better Call Saul, very cool. It's a really good show, and it's been airing live recently, and this season has been killing me. It's been so good, but so many painful things have happened. But oh my god, I'm gonna be really sad when it's gone. There's only 3 episodes that are left at the time of filming this, and I'm sad the BB universe, the Breaking Bad universe, is coming to an end. It sucks. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video because I used a couple little techniques that were different and new, and I just try to make a different kind of video. It might be a little longer than my usual one too, which is not a bad thing. I do want to make some longer videos from time to time, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much. Protagonist himself, and where am I going with this? What the fuck? Ugh.